everyone. It is the first Sunday in the month of April and the Sunday after Easter. For the Catholics, it is the Divine Mercy Sunday. Our package tonight on Sunday Rendezvous is laced with stories making the rounds, people and events, and human angle reports that you cannot afford to miss. So I urge you to stay glued to this channel and pay attention while we dish out our content. Do not forget that you can watch us live on our YouTube channel at NTA Enugu. And we begin with the hard news segment. The federal government has declared Tuesday, 9th April, and Wednesday, 10th April 2024 as public holidays to mark this year's Eid al-Fitr celebration. Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, made the declaration on behalf of the federal government in Abuja. In a congratulatory message signed by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Dr. Gogo Ndayako, the minister congratulates all Muslim Ummah for the successful completion of the fasting in the holy month of Ramadan. The minister called on the Muslim Ummah to imbibe and practice the virtues of kindness, love, tolerance, peace, and compassion as exemplified by the Holy Prophet Muhammad. The minister wishes all Muslim Ummah a happy Eid al-Fitr celebration and prays that the peace, blessings, and favors of Allah be with everyone and with the country, Nigeria. President Bola Tinubu last week, Wednesday, 3rd April 2024, signed into law the Students' Loans Access to Higher Education Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2024. The act is of historic proportions as it seeks to guarantee sustainable higher education and functional skill development for all Nigerian students and youths. Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, explains the merits of the amendments.
The repealed Student Loan Act 2023 had challenges bordering on governance and management, purpose of the loans, eligibility criteria for applicants, method of application, repayment provisions, and recovery of loans. The act signed into law by the President addresses the challenges as it establishes the Nigeria Education Loan Fund as a body that can sue and be sued in its name and has the power to acquire, hold, and dispose of movable and immovable property for the purpose of its functions. This ensures that a fund can legally enter contracts, including loan agreements, and may also initiate action to ensure repayment by beneficiaries. It also empowers the fund to provide loans to qualified Nigerians for tuition, fees, charges, and upkeep during their studies in approved tertiary academic institutions, vocational and skills acquisition institutions in Nigeria. It allows it to build, operate and maintain a diversified pool of funds to provide loans to qualified applicants. The amendments ensure that students can apply for and receive loans to cover tuition, institutional charges, and upkeep. It separates the governance functions from the management operations of NEL Fund by establishing a board of directors with a chairman and secretary. Members of the board are drawn from relevant ministries, regulatory bodies, and participating agencies and other stakeholders. A management team led by a managing director, including executive directors responsible for the day-to-day management and operations of the fund, has also been provided. Meanwhile, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria appoints the board and management. The amendment properly defines the resource structure of the fund, among other things, establishing the General Reserve Fund, into which shall be paid 1% of all taxes, levies and duties collected by the Federal Inland Revenue Service and accruing to the benefit of the federal government, from which the fund shall pay amounts payable as loans to qualified applicants for tuition, fees, charges and upkeep, as well as funds operational expenses and such expenditures necessary to attaining the fund's objectives and functions. The new act provides for eligibility criteria for applicants, as it removes the family income threshold so Nigerian students can apply for these loans and accept responsibility for repayment according to the fund's guidelines. The guarantor requirement has been removed to enable students apply for and receive loans subject to application and identity verification guidelines. The new act addresses disqualification based on applicants' parents' loan history. This is through a justice and fairness provision established, mandating the board to ensure a minimum spread of loans approved and disbursed in each financial year. Applicants to the fund may apply for loans to cover tuition and other fees payable to the school and maintenance allowance payable to the students. On the repayment of loans by beneficiaries, the fund shall not initiate fund recovery efforts until 2 years after the completion of the National Youth Service Program. A beneficiary may request an extension of enforcement action by the fund by providing a sworn affidavit indicating that he or she is not employed in any capacity and is not receiving any income. Only a person who provides a false statement to the fund under this section is guilty of a felony and liable to imprisonment for 3 years. The new act also makes provision for loan forgiveness in the event of death or acts of God causing inability to repay. The new act, Ngelale says, paves the path for the protection of Nigeria's future by ensuring that citizens have the means to fund their education, acquire critical skills, and become productive contributors to national development. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
In what seems to be an effective strategy in the fight against trailer crashes, Federal Road Safety Corps Interagency Joint Task Force has arrested 35 trailers carrying 982 passengers. Oyeyemi Ajayi reports.
It will be recalled that recently the Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps, Dauda Alibio, established an interagency joint task force against conveyance of humans with animals and goods by trailers. Obviously, it's evident that it's not business as usual with the recent arrest of 35 trailers conveying 982 passengers. A total of 19 trailers carrying 810 people were apprehended at the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway, while the Joint Task Force team covering Bauchi-Maiduguri General Operation Area of the Corps also arrested 16 trailers conveying 172 passengers on that route. These arrests were perfected within the first 1 week of operation. While the special operation is going on, the Corps Marshal has directed sector commanders of the states where the act is more prominent to sustain ongoing engagement with the leadership of road transport unions as well as owners of articulated vehicles to ensure that drivers who engage in such traffic violations are cautioned. Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Over the years, the use of railway system has remained a reliable means of transportation. Enugu residents are calling for the revitalization of the dilapidated rail lines and subsequent restoration of railway transportation in the southeast zone. Chimaroke Ugu reports.
Recorded in the southeast zone in terms of movement of goods and services is attributable to efficient and reliable railway transport system. In general, Nigerian Railway have played key role in the country's socio-economic development as well as stimulated rapid urbanization. It is against this backdrop that Enugu residents, especially traders, have called for the revitalization of the railway system in the southern part of the country to boost business activities and increase the revenue generation of the country.
I want to thank the federal government for coming back with that project. Enugu state government have engaged with them and the preparation for establishing a rail line across the major cities in Enugu. If peradventure we start making use of railways in transporting some of all these, it will be saving the life of the road.
To revitalize the railway system in Enugu state, which means all the Nigeria has linked up. No way you can talk of effective railway in this country without putting Enugu.
Railway is faster, railway is cheaper, railway is more convenient.
According to the Eastern District Manager, Railway Corporation, construction work have commenced in the Port Harcourt through Aba axis of the rail tracks, including laying of rail tracks to Enugu and beyond.
CCUCC have taken over the line. They have started since last year, April. They have started rerouting the track. that is from Port Harcourt up down to Enugu here.
The district manager maintained that one of the major setbacks of the project is vandalism of railway materials and called for monitoring of the rail tracks against vandals. In Enugu, Chimaroke Ugu, NTA News.
Road users have applauded the federal government for the palliative work at the new Artisan collapsed bridge, which has eased traffic along the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway. In September last year, the bridge at the new Artisan Market axis of the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway collapsed, and this brought to a standstill the ever-busy road which links Enugu to about 5 states in the southeast zone. While the federal government is working on the collapsed bridge, it provided a diversion culvert for road users to ply before the completion of the new bridge.
The Minister of Works, Chief David Nweze Omahi, is the one rushing the process to get this culvert as you see it now, and for the earthwork to be ongoing fastly. Also, he directs the Chinese contractors to do this bridge, the other bridge, with fast process.
Federal government, they are working our bridge to help Nigerian citizens. So we appreciate at the work what they are doing.
The road users, while commending the federal government for the palliative work, pleaded for an expedited work on the collapsed bridge.
Throughout last year, when this thing happened, this is a no-go area. Well, as you can see, the government are doing what they should, like what we expect of them. At least, what we can see now is just temporary passage, while the main work is ongoing. They need to speed up the work so that there's traffic everywhere.
With the massive human and machinery labor ongoing at the collapsed bridge, it is hoped that the road users will breathe a sigh of relief and commercial activities there restored to normalcy. We'll take a break here. Sunday Rendezvous. We'll be right back. Do stay. Welcome back. An African adage, the greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members, was demonstrated as the people of Okpatu and Ibite Okpatu community celebrated their son, the Speaker of the Enugu State House of Assembly, Uche Ugu, for his contributions and achievements to the growth of the community. Chimaroke Ugu was at the event for Sunday Rendezvous.
It was a roll call of the clergy, politicians, and well-wishers who joined the people of Okpatu and Ibite Okpatu community to celebrate their worthy son, the Speaker of Enugu State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Uche Ugu, for the giant strides and quality representation of his constituents. In a Thanksgiving Mass held at the Holy Family Catholic Church, Okpatu, Reverend Father Amobi Umeyo described Right Honorable Uche Ugu as a selfless personality who has contributed his quota to the development witnessed across the state. The priest charged him to continue in the lifestyle of Christ.
I want you to represent us. Remember your humble beginnings. Don't forget it. We are celebrating today Jesus Christ, risen from the dead.
Describing him as a child of destiny, people at the event extolled the virtues of the speaker, saying he represented uncommon legislative qualities and astute character that endeared him to his constituents and the people of the state through his robustly engaged leadership of the 8th Assembly.
Anytime we are in position, any member of my community is in a position, he distinguishes himself. It's a trait. We are known for this. So I don't expect anything different from Right Honorable Uche, who is even a child of destiny.
Speaker will not disappoint us, and we are very, very proud of him.
what he is doing, because we know he will finish the tenure and enter his second tenure and finish it at the same time.
For me, the hallmark of democracy is legislators. Legislators are the voice of the people, and in any society where you have weak legislators, what you see in return is bad governance.
While thanking the Okpato and Ibite Okpato community for the reception, the Speaker promised that the House of Assembly will continue to have cordial relationship with the executive for the overall interest of the citizens and the people of Enugu.
I have my core responsibilities, and I'm sure I've been living up to that. What I'm pledging to my people is quality representation. We'll make sure we'll be churning out good laws for the good governance of the citizens. The Enugu State House of Assembly will continue to work in synergy with the executive.
Celebrating achievements there. In the past, women's education was said to end in the kitchen, and women most times were being relegated to the background. However, in recent times, research has shown that women are taking up most professions and trades, even those known to be for the males. In the male-dominated trade, girls discover their unique interests, and their stories may inspire a lot of young people. And our correspondent in this report takes a look at one of these male-dominated trades taken up by the women.
Research has shown that shoemaking is one of the trades that is dominated by men. For instance, the shoe site at Unkwele Naka in Anambra State is dominated by male. Interestingly, NTA News crew discovered few women who are now into the profession. Obiesi Ebubechukwu is one of them. Obiesi is a graduate of microbiology. Her desire to succeed inspired her into abandoning her line of education.
I've not really seen anything as male-dominated while growing up. I've always known I can do it, so far I actually want to do it. And the second thing that brought me here was people's discovery. I discovered who I am and what I wanted to do earlier, so I ventured into it.
Obiesi has 3 employees on her payroll through her shoemaking business.
Back then, it was the era of parents deciding what their child wanted to be. When I finally told them, this is what I want to do, it was a war in my house, being a young girl trying to do what men do.
I'll say it's choice, because right from when I was small, I actually like wearing palms, different kind of designs. So I grew passion for it. So once I wear, people like it, so they order for it.
We've seen the condition of things in Nigeria. After graduating, there will be no work, so I decided to enroll myself in one of the handwork.
The success story of Obiesi as a lady in the shoemaking business is a case of whatever your hand finds to do, do it well, and whatever a man can do, a woman can also do.
What a man can do, a woman can do it even better. A famous playwright, William Shakespeare, once asked the question in his book, Romeo and Juliet, what is in a name? In Africa, however, names carry deep personal, cultural, familial, and historical connections. So, as parents, what really informs the choice of your children's names, and whose responsibility is it to name a child? Ifeoma Ojinta in this report gives us an insight.
In other climes, names such as wood, rice, stone, and black are ascribed to humans, Africans see names as holding immense power which manifests through lifetime. Religious scholars assert that a name essentially reflects one's destiny, emphasizing the need for parents to be diligent and discerning in selecting a child's name.
We should look at names that will not bring curses upon our children, names that will not bind our children to idols, but names that should align them with their destiny.
You don't just give your child any name anyhow. Any name you give to your child, most of the time has implication in your life.
More often than not, when parents bestow a name upon their child, it unveils their hopes, desires, and dreams. Some parents, however, find themselves at a crossroad when faced with this significant responsibility. Now, who reserves the right to give a child a name? The father or the mother?
It's actually a lot of fun discussing the name of the child, the meaning and everything. So both parents should talk about it. I'm not sure. I don't know. Do people actually decide that it's one parent that will name the child? I think both of them should discuss it.
Normally, the father is the head of the family. Yeah, but at the same time, the mother can still do the same thing.
I will give the courtesy to the woman. At least, she brought the child to the world. She passed through pain and all that. So I would say the woman.
Let's examine this matter from a religious perspective.
The authority we see from scriptural pattern rests with the father. That does not mean that others cannot bring in names. It's a thing of joy, and it's for the father to now vet those names and see if they are appropriate for the destiny of the child that God has given to him.
They first agree on which name. The Prophet ﷺ said, when your wife is pregnant, you should look for 4 names. 2 for boys and 2 for girls. The 2 of you sit down and you come out with names that is good. But after you agree, it is the father who carried the baby the day that he was born and call prayer and announce the
Some
name.
parents choose names solely for their aesthetic appeal or pleasant sound, while others name their children after relatives, celebrities, or notable figures. Most striking is the choice of some parents to name their children after their ex-partners.
It's a very deep thing because I know in one particular instance, at least I know 2 persons who named their daughters after me. And in one particular instance, in fact, up till now, the wife refused to call the girl that name.
I have this ex I know I like a lot. I wouldn't mind naming my child after her. Sorry to my future wife, please, but it's just how it is, People in your life, you tend to want to remember them naming them something that makes meaning to you.
Someone that has been gone, anything else is past already. You now use it for the present. It doesn't work.
Naming a child is a weighty matter, as clerics emphasize the importance of seeking divine guidance. However, consider this scenario. What will you do if you discovered that your child was named after your spouse's former partner? This is food for thought. Different strokes for different folks there. And this is where we call it a day on this week's edition of Sunday Rendezvous. We thank you so much for being a part of it. And we wish our Muslim brothers and sisters happy Eid al-Fitr celebrations. Good night and God bless.